Is the Mango Power E power station worth the money? Thankfully, the company has stepped up and fixed all the issues I had with version 1, and this thing is now working perfectly. Continue watching this review so you can see all the features of this power station. The Mango Power E is shipped in a really big box. It actually has another box inside here. It weighs 100 pounds, so definitely be careful as you pick this up. And if you need to, definitely invite a friend over to help you with this. Okay, I broke the boxes down so it would be easier to get this out because it is rather heavy. All right, so here on the top, there are two cables. One is an MC4 solar panel connector, and the other one is from just a wall plug, AC wall plug. There's a warranty card and a little bit of information here. Go. I'm going to wheel this unit around to the back of the shop here where I've got some shade I can work in. Let's see what we get here by rolling this around. Welcome to the Land House channel. I'm Seth. Mango Power just sent over the Mango Power E power station. This unit has a 3,000 watt pure sine wave inverter with a 3.5 kilowatt hour lithium iron phosphate battery powered by Catl. So previously I reviewed a Mango Power E and there were some issues. The app didn't work. The unit would randomly shut off at typically about 50% of the battery, and there were a few other little things that were going wrong with the machine. And so Mango Power sent over a new unit to see if I can't enjoy their product as it was meant to be enjoyed. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of its features. Let's start off by exploring the outside of this machine. Starting off up here on the front is a touch color screen that will show you some good information. Power button is over here. It has a 30 amp AC outlet over here. On the DC side, you've got a 65 watt and a 100 watt USB Type C. It's got two barrel plugs, 12 volt, 5 amp DC, 12 volt car outlet there at 10 amp. It's nice to see one with 10 amp so that it can run compressors, which is really good. All right, down here you've got the USB. This is a quick charge 3.0 24 watt. Over here you got three more of those, and then you've got four AC outlets. These are 20 amp and they are able to produce a maximum of 3 kilowatts on that output. All right, other than that, it's just got a slick surface here on the front with the Mango Power logo right there. This side of the unit just has some slits to allow air to pass through. It says powered by Catl, Mango Power down there. It has a nice rubber handle up here, which is able to support the weight of this really heavy machine. It's also got wheels built in that allow you to roll this around without too much of an issue. On the back, it has Mango Power, and there is a handle that pops up. Now, one of the issues I saw in the previous unit was that this was kind of flexible back here. There's a little bit of flex in this one. Let's see. Yeah, that's moving around no problem. All right, good. All right, and that handle does collapse out of sight there. Okay, over here, you've got the handle up top, just like on the other side, for easy carrying. And if you move down here, you've got your solar input, 2,000 watt max, grid AC input, 3,000 watts. You've got the E-link, so you can connect the battery, and there is the E plus port right there. Let's see if I can get that open. This seems to be a redesign from the previous one. There we go. I hope that loosens up a bit. All right, and that's what the ports look like there whenever you open this up. So we will just be using the solar input and the AC grid input right there. Let's see if that's loosened up after the first use. No, not really. I'd like to see them put a bigger spot there, because you almost have to have, oh gosh, like a tool to open that. I'm going to hold down the power button for a moment and then release it, and that should turn this unit on. There we go. The display is popping up. It's initializing. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. It was shipped at 65%. Let's take a look at what else comes with this power station real quick before we do any kind of testing. So you've got your solar cable, which is right here. Now the first unit that I reviewed had a big issue with this cable. The negative lead had no continuity between this side and this side. And Mango Power tells me that they have corrected that issue. So we'll be testing that out here in just a bit. And then you've got your same aviation plug on that side with the 3-prong AC right there. Now this right here is new to this version of the Mango Power E. It tells you how to turn the unit on and off. It tells you that you can actually click the little button on the top of the percentage display and get some information. So we'll have to try that out. And then there's a little bit more information about what the backup battery is. The original version did not tell you anything about what that does. All right, so let's go ahead and, oh, there's also a user manual with some good charts and information in there. Now, in the previous version of this unit, the app would not connect to the power station. And so now I'm going to try this again. There's a tiny QR code here on this information packet. Let's see if this will bring it up here. All right, there we go. I managed to get that code to work. Let's see if I can install this here. Okay, I'm gonna open the app now. Let's go ahead and give it permissions. All right, I'm just setting up an account here to use this product. I've now registered the app. Let's go ahead and add a device. It's the Mango Power E. Now, if I press the Mango Power E display on the machine, I can find the serial number. So here's the serial number. I can say this is further than I ever got before with the other version, so that's nice to see. I'm noticing on the display of the Mango Power that the Bluetooth icon has now come on. So let's see if we're able to access this now. So it says the device is not on the internet, but it is showing some of the information here. So the Mango Power display shows 18%. I've got 65 here. So let's see if maybe we need to configure this differently to be on the internet. Alright, let's see if we are now online. Good, okay. Now the display is showing 18%, which is the same as the display on the Mango Power. And also the Wi-Fi symbol has come on, so it appears as though it is connected properly. So turning on the AC. There we go. On the display it has turned on. Very cool. We can also turn on the DC at the same time through the app. Well, there you go. The app is working as it should. Let's go ahead and charge this unit with some solar. So I've got the aviation plug. I'm going to find the white dot, which is right there, and that goes upwards here. So go ahead and get that plugged in and tighten that down. Now I've got 500 watts of solar that I can test this out with. It is a rather cloudy day, but I think we'll be able to try this out anyhow. Check the display now to see what we have. Alright, it did pop on immediately. There's 50 watts, 60. I'll wait for the sun to pop out and we'll see if we get a higher value than that. My solar panels are partially shaded now with trees, but we're seeing over 200 watts coming in, so it has charged up to 68%. Alright, I'm going to let this sit here for the next day or so and charge up to 100 before we begin a discharge test. It's nice to see that that solar cable is working. The panel is getting sun now, and as you can see, it is charged to 78% at 225 watts. Solar Power has been charging this now for a while at about 200 watts and doing quite well. But I want to see if it's possible to charge with both the AC plug and the solar at the same time. And so I'm going to plug this up here. Now, this is my off-grid inverter, so I don't want to stress it for too long. I'll probably kick this down to the 10 amp setting and we'll get this going. All right, that just kicked on. Well, let's see. I haven't clicked the fast charge yet, so let's see what we get here. 465, very good. And then almost 200 on solar. All right, very cool. So that's a way you can charge without overloading your off-grid inverter like I'm doing here. So let's go into the settings and set this to 10 amp, confirm, and then do the quick charge button and see what it gets up to. My inverter here is a 2000 watt, so it should be able to push out some pretty good power. Well, I'm not sure what happened there, but it kicked out both of them. Let's turn that off. Let me do a reset and see what happens here. Perhaps it was trying to pull more than 2000 watts like my inverter can supply. But let's go back to the not quick charge and see what happens. I'm seeing that it went from 86% to 100% here on the battery. I don't see how it did that unless it was something to do with this backup. It says the BMS is got a BW004. I'll have to look up that information in the book. I'm not sure if my camera will focus on the manual here, but the BW004 just means full power sign, and the state of charge is 100%. Now that we have the state of charge at 100% on this battery, let's do a discharge test. I'm going to use this kilowatt meter to get a time and a power output here. All right, so let's go ahead and use this little heater, and it'll be pretty consistent on this test. So let's go ahead and turn on the AC load here. And I'm going to do a reset on this. There we go. All right, I'm going to plug up this heater, and I'm going to be able to track the time here, but I also want to use my cell phone as a stopwatch. All right, let's turn this on. Let's do full. Push start on this. The output is 1,428 watts. It says time remaining 2 hours and 8 minutes down here on the bottom of the display. So the time display on the unit is showing a little over 2 hours. Well, let's see what happens if we use the math. So let's see, 0.85 times 3533 watt hours, so 3003, divided by the power that we're currently running, which is 1425. This should run for 2 hours and 10 minutes. So the unit was showing 2 hours and 8 minutes. So basically we are right on schedule with what the display is showing and what we're seeing here with the math. One nice thing to see is that the kilowatt meter is showing 1,422 roughly. And over here we're seeing the 1,425. So they are really close here to working at the same wattage. So very nice. All right. Let's let this sit for a while and see how well it does. At 1 hour and 40 minutes, the percentage here is now at 22% left. It says it has 27 minutes left to go. Yep. All right, it just kicked off here. Let me check the time real quick. I almost missed it. There we go, 1 hour 52. So we didn't quite hit the 208 that we were expecting. Now the kilowatt meter has a feature to save the last data known. So let's see what we get here. We used 2.65 kilowatt hours there, and it ran for 1 hour 52. So, all right, there we go. Now that we know the AC side is working just fine, let's test out the DC. So I'm gonna turn the unit back on here. First thing I want to try out is this 12 volt DC right here. So let's go ahead and turn that on when the unit finishes loading up. All right, DC load over here. Got that on. All right, I'm going to be using this little air compressor, and it actually pulls a significant amount of amperage. All right, so that part turns on immediately. I'm going to push this power, it should click on. Yeah, almost 100 watts on that. Very cool. So that's working. All right, let's see. I've got a flashlight here. I'm going to plug this up to one of the USB ports down here and get this plugged up. All right, I doubt that shows up on camera, but it's turned red there, and it's got 10 or 11 watts on the display. And now I've got this tiny flashlight here. I don't know if it's going to work on the let's do 65 watt, the USB type C, and plug it up. I can't remember if this light has to have the lower ones or not there. Wait, now I'm seeing a green light come on. So yep, that is also charging. Looks like 2 watts, 1 or 2 watts, so not much there. All right, so yeah, the cigarette lighter is working for powering that compressor. This right here, the USB type C is working, and the USB 3.0 is working right there as well. So cool. All the DC stuff down there seems to be working just fine. Let's talk about the Mango Power E power station. This unit is competitively priced for the size inverter and battery that you find in this unit. The display is color and gives you plenty of information. It has lots of outlets for AC and plenty of USB ports and the USB type C as well. Has that 30 amp, it's still 120 volt, but has the ability to plug up to your camper or whatever you're using a 30 amp plug for. The construction of the case is nice. It has these rubberized handles that are pretty convenient whenever you're trying to carry this thing, especially upstairs. It's 100 pounds, so it's very heavy. So you may even want to have one person on each side. Now I have noticed that the handle design works fine, but there is a slight bit of flex on the back of the case, which seems to be doing okay, no problem whatsoever. Now on this model versus the other previous model, there have been a few upgrades. So the unit firmware on the previous model would have this shut off somewhere around 50% every time, and it was really frustrating. They have fixed that issue. There was a continuity issue in the solar charging cable. They have fixed that issue. It works just fine right out of the box. And then the app on the previous model would not load up on the phone, and they have also fixed that issue as well. Now connecting to Wi-Fi was pretty straightforward, and so was connecting to Bluetooth. One of the features of the app is that you can turn on the AC and DC output from the mobile device, and that's a great concept, especially if you are, say, in a shop or on the couch and you want to turn something on. Then you can just do that by your phone instead of having to go over and turn the unit on. Now if their power goes out and your Wi-Fi is connected to grid power, then perhaps it won't work because there's no connectivity between the two. So it's a fun feature and does have some limitations, but it's also nice to be able to check to see what the state of charge is and just be able to do a few functions remotely that you could also do here on the display. The Wi-Fi app also lets you update the unit. Now one thing I noticed on this model that wasn't on the previous model is that it's very difficult to open up the side panel to access your charging ports. The previous model just popped right open, and so maybe they took feedback from that and made it more rigid, but now it's almost impossible to open by hand. You have to stick some kind of tool in there to get that open. The wheels seem to be working just fine. They are a little bit small, and they are also a hard plastic, so be careful if you're rolling this around on a really nice floor. You don't want to scratch anything up. Alright, so I am very pleased that the company has taken note to their issues with the previous model and has fixed everything, so very nice to see that. I've been in contact with the company a couple times, and they have been very responsive to my emails. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you want to check out more information on the Mango Power E, then I will have a link in the description down below. I'm Seth with the Land to House channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.